All right, hello, friends, and welcome back to the Gaming Dad Fujo podcast. This is episode number 33, the Gaming Dad podcast. You can find every other Friday, except for that one that happened earlier this year, but that's okay. This episode is being recorded on October 10th, 2024. I am Fujosevic, your host, a former professional Hearthstone player. Currently, I'm working as a chemist. We're not doing the full-time gaming thing anymore. But this is a place where we talk about all the different topics that we used to get into when we would be streaming. And those streams would get posted on to YouTube's daily for a number of years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 years. Was I on YouTube for 27 years posting a gaming video every single day? I think I was. You know what? Instead of I just did it myself right there. Normally we would interrupt our conversations with needing to, I really need to top deck Flame Strike. I really need to clear the board. That's what we used to talk about with all the Hearthstone gameplay. But instead, we're going to interrupt ourselves with other topics. And on today's episode, we will be talking about, at the very least, Simpsons Tapped Out going offline 2025, multiple Nintendo hacker and modders under fire by Nintendo, and a World of Warcraft Season of Discovery mystery that is still not solved. All of those topics and so many more. Let's get started. He's got no time to play video games. He's the gaming dad, Fujo. Nailed it. And as we always like to do, we're gonna, little housekeeping. If you're watching on the YouTube stuff might be going away, by the way. It might be focused. I know we're gonna be losing 2,000 to 4,000 views roughly by dropping the YouTubes. I know there's a lot of people out there in the Spotify universe. We get most of our views through that way in the podcast. You can take Fujo on the go. That's the best way to have me, from what I've heard. But the YouTubes might be dropping because we're going to talk about some other stuff that we're going to be doing. But what sort of... Oh, yeah. So anyways, if you are on the YouTubes, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you're on the podcast, get the 5 out of 5. Leave a comment. Always looking for more Gaming Dad gaming suggestions. We always like to talk about these different easier to play with limited type of games. What have we been doing lately? A bunch of Brawl Stars. They just had our SpongeBob event that just ended. That was fun. Bunch of Brawl Stars. We talked about the Final Fantasy VI Advance. We got the Advance going. We're doing Final Fantasy VI. How far are we? We're World of Ruin. We're halfway through. We're collecting the rest of our group. We talked about this. Fujo, we know I have my Final Fantasy 3. We know in North America it came out as 3. It's actually 6th in line. We're not going to relitigate that. We talked about it before here. The story's well known. We have my Final Fantasy 3 poster from my original Squaresoft. Back then it was Squaresoft before they merged with Square to become Square Enix. I have my Final Fantasy 3 poster right beside me, and I've never actually beaten the final boss, Kefka, because I always, let me just do this, let me level up this, let me get someone else another spell. You know what? I'm making a couple strong groups, and we're going to go actually beat Kefka for the first time, which is really strange to say, considering I have my original box and manual and from the original cartridge and everything still here. So we're going to do that. Brawl Stars is still on the side. Pokemon, what else is another great mobile game? Simpsons Tapped Out. It's going to be sunsetted after 12 years out. It's going to be removed from the App Store October 31st, 2024. Simpsons Tapped Out is a fun Simpsons-based clicker. You click stuff and you build something in Springfield. And then you can grow these little other, like some plants, and then you can like go to Moe's and do stuff. And it's really not a action type. It's, you click and then it's like, it takes 4 hours to build this, or pay some premium coinage and build, speed up building Moe's Tavern or whatever it is, right? So it's getting removed from the App Store October 31st. I was debating downloading it just for the sake of being there. Servers are getting shut down January 25th, 2025. Solid cash cow when it came out. It's still making money now. Obviously not as much, what it'd say in its first year. 12 years ago now? Made 120 million in its first year. That's pretty solid for not that much of a game. 12 years, pretty good for a mobile game. Not a lot of games get to say they've been out for 12 years successfully. And we know it's this, it's you click and you wait and you get the premium currencies, and that's kind of the way that gaming has gone, especially when we're looking for online mobile gaming suggestions. We know we're going to get a lot of these. I'm hoping they do some sort of cool end of, server event as they shut down the servers. I really hope they do that because I like it when people do that. The whole Fortnite thing was fun. World of Warcraft always does really cool events between expansions. They just might as well. I really hope they do. We'll follow up on this, like I said, in January then. What's the next? Oh yeah, let's get into some Nintendo lawsuits. Okay, so young man named Ryan Daly, no relation to Pitbull Daly, allegedly. Allegedly owner, allegedly, as all alleged, of course, because lawsuits. Modding company, Modded Hardware, has denied any wrongdoing and is going to defend himself without a lawyer up against Nintendo's lawyers, which I'm going to make a really bold Fujo prediction will not go well for this young man. I have a strong feeling it's not going to go well. Nintendo's lawyers, they come prepared, and I don't think this young man has decades of law experience. So I think the issue is he's gotten a bunch of warnings for what he's been doing. So he would kind of hack hardware and firmware to allow the playing of pirated games, but then it would also sell copies of pirated Nintendo games, which we know that's the one thing when it comes to this. You can like mod and hack a game if you want, and it's legal, assuming you are making no money for it and are clear that you have not created the assets. Or if, like, in the sake of like Poke Rogue, they have to recreate all the assets if they're making a Pokemon game. They can't just like take Pokemon assets. It's really there's two ways it has to go, right? They have to like recreate every single asset like Poke Rogue had to. And these people were openly selling pirated Nintendo content. That's not going to work. What else did we get into here? So yeah, they got some warnings earlier in the year, in March and May, and they just kept going. So yeah, you have to kind of like circumvent some of like these pre-installs. And then they were selling like consoles with pre-installed a whole bunch of Mario, Zelda, Metroid, all sorts of games already on there. And so that's not really great. This young man is not going to go well. What else has happened? We had some history of, we know Yuzu just got taken down. We talked about Yuzu. We talked about ROM Universe. The website paid $2.1 million in damages to Nintendo. Who else paid? There's a bunch of other. The Wii emulator Dolphin. We never talked about. I think we talked about Dolphin back on stream. There's just been so many over the years. We talked about last episode Palworld developer Pocket Pair. There was also discussion of like, oh, is this going to set precedent? I don't think it really works like that. The way I have understood it, it's not really going to set precedent with someone showing up with no lawyer. But the Pocket Pair defending Palworld is going to be interesting. And we're going to jump right into another one. This one came out on October 1st. Ryu Jinx, which is a Nintendo Switch emulator, has ceased development. The lead developer posted something on their a comment, an update on their Discord saying Nintendo of America, easy for me to say, pressures them into shutting down. So they closed all their downloads and their GitHub repositories have been removed. We've been over this. We've talked about the GitHub thing. People make their own forks. You can branch things off. I may or may not have. Here's the thing. We paid for our Switch. We played games that we've paid for. Never played any Switch ROMs. I love talking about this stuff, and I may or may not have a link to one of the GitHub backups of Yuzu and Ryu Jinx, all in one convenient GitHub link. Here's the thing. This is really, we've been talking about these because I love it when people do these passion projects and put in all this energy into things that they just love. But it's really interesting to see. And I know, here's the thing. We know partially the reason why these stories keep coming up for me is because it's in my phone's like circle. It's in my it's what my phone hears me talking about because my phone's sitting right beside me right now, and my phone sees that that's what I'm listening to. And so it gives me more stories, but I feel like there's a lot of these stories coming up. And the prediction of why Nintendo is actually attacking so hard ties into the Switch Next. The Switch 2, if you're unfamiliar with the joke, you can listen to the past 5-10 episodes. I really think that the Switch Next, the Switch 2, whatever you want to call it, because the expectation is so much backwards compatibility of playing Switch games, that there's probably some this is like really deep conspiracy prediction, that there are Nintendo engineers who look at these emulators and say, the Switch 2, the Switch Next will be broken on day one. But the thing is, like, if that's the case, they know they're already toast. Because, like I said, people can find these links. The internet, very few things actually get deleted from the internet. We know that as well. We're not going to dive into that whole thing. So it's just, if that's the case, then, the Switch 2, Switch Next, whatever we're going to call it. I think we should just stick to Switch Next, because that was the original joke that we made, and the prediction. Speaking of predictions as well. So that's kind of where I think this is happening, or why this is all happening and where it's going. But so in this one's also a little different. Like, all of these cases end up being like similar because they get shut down, but different. Like, Yuzu actually got DMCA'd and sued by Nintendo. We mentioned Yuzu, another emulator, but Ryujinx just reached an agreement with Nintendo and said, we're taking it all offline, we're done developing. So it's like they're always similar in that, like, it gets stopped, but it's also similar in that if you know how Google works, you can always still find it. So it's going to be interesting. And then we'll see again another Fujo prediction. We got a lot of stuff to follow up on, and that's okay. Speaking of things to follow up on, World of Warcraft's retail has a new expansion, and their Team Liquid US won the world first kill of the first phase. How do I not remember how to talk about WoW anymore? In the Mythic dungeons, Mythic raids, I should say. Fantastic. So let's see what it took. It took them 404 kills to pull 404 pulls to beat the final boss. Their prediction was it was going to take about 125, so that's a lot more. A pull is a single attempt, so once you engage with the boss, and then everyone will die, and then you have to all resurrect and regroup and rebuff and say, hey, there's this strategy, hey, super monkey dude, stop running into the fire, you have to run away from the fire, that sort of thing. And then they try again, 404 attempts on the one boss. The total raid took them 1,003 pulls for all, I think it was 8 bosses. Was it 6? I don't know. I think in my mind it's 8. The video is really cool. Again, there was these 2 separate of their players made incredible saves in the final kill that would have wiped the raid, that had wiped them in previous, 403 attempts. So that was actually really, really cool. And shout out to them for doing it. I always like watching these, from afar, watching these world first races, how much time and energy and effort these people put into it. And then they kind of disappear and they kind of just like cruise along. Until the next major phase gets released, and then they all start ramping back up and come out of the woodwork, and they get back to work. We have another Nintendo story. We're gonna skip it for now. We're gonna come back in a minute. Let's talk about the Joker. I'm gonna mispronounce it, even though I should know how to speak French. Folie à deux. Joker 2. Incredibly disappointing opening weekend. Disappointing. At 37.8 million. So this is incredible. It's one of the worst bombs. Let's get a list of movies that opened bigger than Joker 2. The Bee Movie, $38 million. Morbius, $39 million. Grown-Ups and Grown-Ups 2 both came in at over 40 mil. Medea Goes to Jail, over 41. High School Musical 3, hey, you better believe it came in at $42 million. I'm not blaming, here's the thing, with Joker 2, I'm not going to butcher my French any more than I already have. Not blaming Lady Gaga on this at all. I think she's a very fine actress. She was great in that movie with Bradley Cooper. This is going to be a really, really interesting one. Let's kind of take a look and see what happened. So there was pushback from the Todd Phillips. He was the director in charge of this. There was pushback by James Gunn, he left, Guardians of Galaxy and Marvel to kind of take over DC. He's kind of in charge of rebooting. We talked about the Henry Cavill leaving thing. James Gunn is taking over. He's going to reboot and try this big, massive DC universe, the same way that Marvel has the MCU. We'll see how that works out. So apparently there was some conflict between Todd Phillips and Gunn, giving notes. They pushed back on shooting in a cheaper location. They refused to test screen the movie, and then they forced this Venice premiere. And then Todd Phillips got paid millions of dollars, tens of millions, and then didn't show up to the Venice premiere. And the movie completely bombed. By the looks of the numbers, it's basically wiped out all of the profit from Joker 1 that it made. About $430 million profit. But the thing is, that first Joker movie was co-financed by some Braun someone, I don't know, these Hollywood people. And so that Braun person took a bunch of that cash. So really, Warner Brothers is probably down money on this because the first Joker was super, super well received. And then this movie just completely poo-pooed on all of the fans on what was happening. And it just is not good. And Todd Phillips kind of walked away, didn't want to do the movie, apparently. So he demanded basically a blank check and complete control, and then this is what happened. And I think it's too bad. I definitely think it's too bad because the Joker's an incredible character. And yeah, it's really too bad for DC. Just has to like pick themselves up again and climb back out of this, which is just horrible for them. Switching to other weird stories, Lego. Everyone loves Lego. I love Lego. You love everybody loves Lego. They got hacked on October 4th, only for a little bit. But guess who it was? It was the Crypto Bros. Around 9 p.m. Eastern. The Lego.com website got edited. Their banner at the top got hacked, and they just put in a new banner linking to a cryptocurrency website. And Lego's not releasing a cryptocurrency. That's not what they're doing. They had the existing banner was advertising their Fortnite Lego sets, and the image that came up was very AI art. Which the scary thing is AI shouldn't make fun because AI art's actually getting a lot better. But most of the free available, which somehow these crypto bros used, a lot of the free, easily available AI art is big thumbs down. It's very obviously AI, which is fine. It is what it is. It's its own thing, right? But and the thing is, so Lego.com took it down. They got by like 10:15. They got it removed. They issued a statement so that it was like from 9 till 10:15, so an hour and 15 minutes. The next morning at 10 a.m., they published a statement about an unauthorized banner briefly appeared, quickly addressed it. No user accounts have been compromised, which was a big deal because there are a lot of people who like to order their Legos. Cause has been identified, implementing measures to prevent it from happening again. So that was a funny one. People going after Lego. I mean, which again, that stinks because, Lego's going to be, a lot of kids are going to be on there and possibly were taken advantage of. I haven't seen any reports of how much money potentially went through there, but because of the way crypto works, probably not the easiest thing to find out. What else should we talk about? Oh, let's talk about some corporate stuff, some gaming corporate stuff. Big thumbs down to Fortnite CEO, Tim Sweeney. They made a biggest announcement at one of their quarterly financial shareholders, blah, blah, blahs. They're financially sound after stabilizing from their 2023 layoffs of 830 employees. This is Fortnite, right? At this point, they've made over $5 billion this year in 2024, and it's October. There's still 3 months left, 2.5, we'll call it months, including the holiday seasons when there's a lot of V-Bucks and a lot of stockings and a lot of new custom skins and have to get purchased. We talked about these big layoffs. It's just, it's just really, I don't know. When you look, I understand. We talk about this all the time. Companies, they're beholden to their shareholders to increase share price. Maximize share price. Blah blah blah. 830 people at a company that's making so much money. Look, you have servers you got to maintain and all that stuff, and I get it. And there's licensing fees, so a lot of that money has to go. It gets split multiple ways when you're licensing, Marvel this and Dragon Ball that and everything else that's going into Fortnite. But it's silly and we don't like it. Big thumbs down for that CEO. From Software, potentially, at the beginning of this story sounds a lot better than it ends up being. From Software, they're the ones who make Elden Ring. Elden Ring, massive hit from a year or two ago. Announced 11.8% base salary raise for their employees. And you think that sounds actually really good. Well done. So they're Japanese developer, headquartered in Tokyo. Sounds really good. They're trying to bring things more in line with what other companies are offering. And when you convert that to the wording, 11.8% base salary. If I got 11.8% base salary, again, my salary's not that great, but I'd be pretty happy with it, right? However, when you convert that 11.8% base salary, it turns into Canadian dollars about 20 cents an hour above Ontario's minimum wage. So it's not the best. And we know that a lot of big corporations in Japan do have massive burnout crunch culture. And and here's the thing. I want to take a look at this as a positive, because we always like to say positive, right? Whatever we're doing, there's so much negativity out there in the world. We're going to stay positive. Hopefully this helps. It's a great investment for the company, right? People feel better. They're being rewarded. They're feeling valued. They want to show up and work harder. You feel good. You're going to work well, all that great stuff. You care about the company more. You feel like the company cares about you instead of just, an attaboy, a pat on the back. So we're going to look at this as a positive. Of course, we got to dig a little deeper than just at the surface level, but it is what it is, right? Let's go do our other Nintendo story. So this is just from 4 hours ago from this recording. This happened on October 10th. Nintendo Online posted Nintendo Switch Online playtest program on October 10th. Globally, there was a playtest program that you could sign up for to potentially playtest. And I know you keep thinking to yourself, Fujo, why aren't you finishing your sentence of playtest blank? Because the website didn't tell anyone either. They just said, hey, do you want to playtest for Nintendo? And everyone came to sign up. So the funny thing is, in Japan, it was you sign up and then you get entered into a lottery to get picked. The rest of the global release was just click refresh as fast as you can. It seems like the link was only live for somewhere, but people are saying like less than 10 seconds. And then you just got a message, we are full. So you had to be there as it was happening, clicking really quickly to get in. And people still don't know, even who got to say you've been accepted, people still don't know what they're testing, which is just incredible, because it's like Nintendo said something, here's my information, send, which I love this. I love this. There's still no information about what it is. But it's just, there was an opportunity to play test something for Nintendo, and people said, yes, please, which I love. And that's literally the story, because that's all that's happened, which is just so weird. It's ominous. You're not going to get to play test the Switch 2, the next Switch next. You know what I mean? It's going to be something gaming, download a demo to your Switch, whatever it is. Absolutely just so funny. A lot of people complaining, I was logged in, I was already clicking refresh, and by the time the screen loaded, it said full. Just absolutely wild. Well done, Nintendo. Whatever it is that those people are getting to do, they're obviously going to tell us about it, so we're going to find out. I think it's really, really funny. Okay. So let's go into, I feel like I kind of have a bit of the story cut off. Oh no, what happened? I'm just going to talk through it and then figure it out. You know what? We're doing it live as if we were streaming, so that's all right. So, World of Warcraft's Season of Discovery. We know we played it when it first started. Phase 1 was fantastic rating. And then we realized I don't really have time. Even for once, twice a night committed time, I don't have time for that. So we cut it out. We didn't do anything else. Now, this classic WoW came out in phases, right? The first phase up to level 25, then 40, blah, 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 50 and 60. Great. When phase 2 came out, it introduced a new quest chain, right? For these sleeping bags. Great items. Who cares? However, afterwards, people started noticing a pair of level 77, which is a lot higher because the max level in Classic is 60. So it's level 77 NPCs named Secret Agents, who are not in the original Classic WoW game. Okay? They would normally disappear whenever they got approached by it. So if you get too close to them, they would just disappear. So this is after phase 1. So phase 1, they're not there. In phase 2, this quest comes out with the sleeping bag. And then after people finish the sleeping bag, near the last quest is a massive chain. Really, really cool chain quest, actually. It takes you all over the whole game, basically. Really cool. They start noticing these secret agents. And so there's a bunch of these like WoW secrets, WoW mysteries, discords. And people have been trying this entire, it's almost 6-7 months now since these characters were first released. People still don't know what's going on. So this has been going on the whole time. People have been trying to use different toys in the game. You know, you have little trains. You can put trains down near people, upset everyone. You can have different cosmetics. People thought, radiant ray reflectors, different trinkets that have like silly one time, 30-minute cooldown, whatever, like put what's that thing called? A firework over it. You know what I mean? Like silly. People have been trying all sorts of stuff and nothing has been working until October 2nd. 6 days ago, 8 days ago. Do I know math? How did I do that math? 8 days ago. Okay, so there was a warrior who showed themselves interacting with this level 77 NPC, wearing their sunshades obtained from the warrior sudden death rune. Okay, so the runes are this whole system in Season of Discovery. It's just new abilities that you can get in this Classic WoW Season of Discovery. It's Classic WoW plus new stuff. I think it was actually really cool. I wish I had time for it, but it's fine. This person said, hey, I figured out how to get close to them, and they don't remember. They've been anyone gets near them for the past 7 months, they just disappear. This person said, this is how you do it. Okay. So you can now get, 2 days later, another player named Moshrav posted how to get these cosmetic sunshades that persisted through death. Excuse me, and apply over your equipped helmet. So you have to beat the Sunder Death Rune boss 17 times without dying. So people assume the 17 stacks because it's SI7. That's the secret, one of the secret like groups in World of Warcraft. Also 17 because the character's level 77, which is 17 levels higher than the max level of 60. So there's all this like people are doing all this like massive like escape room math in their head, like what's going on. And so people are like really like talking about this, like people finally got somewhere after all this time, are like, what's going on? So now there's a bunch of like people who are just like dedicated to trying to do this. So now there's way people are interacting, and they have a bunch of different speech options that sometimes talk. That you can get them to sometimes talk. You say, you look a little lost. What are you looking for? In case it wasn't obvious, I'm not here for customer relations. Shouldn't you be saving the world? Oh, I'm so tired. People don't know how that one happens. Then there's some like distorted. Are you receiving? We're still here. Like they're kind of like talking to someone on a radio, right? Another one, it just says unknown, and people don't know what triggers that trigger is unknown. So there's now 8 to 10 secret agent locations confirmed. 8 to 10 because again, it's not actually confirmed. People have posted their locations. People are going to where they are like really like weird, like obscure, like above a raid above this cave and behind this whatever. Super super cool. And now these Discord groups that like do these like secret things are just like asking for overall help. What happened? Oh, I should have kept going. Yeah, it's been confirmed now 10 secret agents, which again, like, are there 17? Because the 17, who knows? So people now have a whole bunch of like potential, hypotheses. I don't say theories. People always say theories. It's a hypothesis at best. Oh, and then also someone said there was this. We've got to talk about this quickly. There was a bunny rabbit that somehow led someone. There was I don't know the user's name. They claimed that a rabbit NPC and helped point people in the general direction of them, which is a weird thing. And we've talked about this in Skyrim, how people used to claim that wildlife would lead you to like a point of interest. The Skyrim developer said, no, that's not true. However, when you look at the coding, it actually is true because these wildlife that you scared away in Skyrim would actually run to these points where it's weird, like underneath the game, there's this mesh underneath the game, and wherever there's high density mesh, that's going to be like entrances to caves and things like that. And these NPCs are drawn to those areas, so like they were actually inadvertently leading you. So it's weird that someone would mention this rabbit NPC thing. But anyways, I don't know. I went down that rabbit hole. I'm sorry. I wanted to get that story out. I know this one. So yeah, people are now theorizing. Secret agent, maybe James Bond. People want to try the tuxedo clothes. People have said that doesn't do anything. People are saying that one of the gossip lines that I read out there, the distorted "Are you receiving? We're still here" is from the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2. People started talking about Metal Gear Solid, like the group. The group is called the Patriots. People are like, does that help? We don't know. And then hold on, this is the one. It's the quote's actually like is Raiden, whatever. And people are like, well, Raiden is an anagram for the Dark Riders leader Eridan in WoW. So people are like, that might be something. Again, this is like super high level escape room. Like, okay, look at this word. Maybe it's an anagram. How many letters? Count like A is a 1. B is a 2. Like people are doing like that, like really intense stuff. People are claiming because, maybe they're theorizing because the shades, maybe it's Men in Black. What items? Are there alien items? Are there alien items that will get released in later raids? Again, like silly trinkets, toys, stuff like that. Shouldn't you be out saving the world? People are thinking like maybe you have to bring something from a raid. Like maybe you need someone who has these glasses plus like Thunder Fury, Did someone say? Yes, someone just did say Thunder Fury. I did. Maybe it's like after Nax Raid gets released. What's that magical staff you get from Kel'Thuzad when you get enough of those shards? Or that's just from the raid overall. So this is super cool. I love this. I know I get. I think we're gonna end that topic here, but I just think it's super cool to see how people like do these things. And just like work through it, and they're, like I said, they just do these like really, really intense like mind games of how to like, what is it? What could be a hint? What's not a hint? What can we try? I think it's super interesting. I'm definitely following up along on this. I think I need to join that Discord to just in case anything. I don't want to miss anything as people are following up on all of these different ideas. I think it's super cool. And I think it's great that the developers, the whole point of Season of Discovery was to discover all these new quests and new things in a game that was basically solved. We knew what the best classes were in Classic WoW. We already knew, the best rotations. We knew the best characters, the classes. If you pick this class, this is the optimal spec for this raid and blah, blah, best for PvP, all that stuff. So it's so cool to have all these new things and to have something that survives 7 months in today's day and age and not be solved yet, I think is just, chef's kiss. Fantastic, fantastic work. And hopefully it just leads to something funny at the end of it. I hope people don't need some big fancy reward. I think the challenge is the reward. This is one of those like very simplistic, that's what gaming is. Like the act of doing it and having that fun is the reward in and of itself. And you know what? I think that's a great note to go out on. That's a really nice positive we're going to end on. All right, everyone. Always, like I said in the comments below on the YouTube, for as long as we stay on the YouTube, feel free to say hi. Let me know what you're doing. Suggest some Gaming Dad gaming suggestions. Let me know how you're doing with your gaming. If you're on the Spotify podcasting world, feel free to hit me up with a comment or review. 5 out of 5 stars really help way more than you think. So do likes on YouTube. And we're going to talk again very, very soon. Be safe. Be good to each other, wherever, whenever you are. I hope you're having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, and we will talk again sometime very, very soon. Bye-bye.